Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you are here today. I forgot to get my some tunes going. I don't know what I'm going to listen to today. We have prime country. Should we listen to some old country music maybe? Oh, wait. Why aren't you connected to my thing? We don't want to get a copyright ding because I'm not playing my music through my earphones. All right, let's see if it's gonna connect. Seems like it's having a problem. Let me try something. Sometimes I gotta start over. How is everybody? What have you been doing? What's going on? All right. Let's see if it's gonna work. Disco, exactly. Choo choo choo. Or some what do they call it? BPM, beats per minute. Choo 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 choo. And you love the photo of Dante and his sideways look. He was like looking at me like, "Are you not going to share with me? I mean, really?" Oh, come on. Let's see if it'll do it now. So I last week was talking to y'all. Yeah, Dante, Dante. I don't know. That's just what we chose. Last week I was showing y'all some of my stamped images that I've been working on. Love that sound of Velcro, right? And where I had stamped out some different pieces on some coffee dyed papers. And then I was sharing some of my stitched items. Okay, I don't know why this isn't connecting. It's acting all... maybe I don't get to listen to music. So made some little stitched elements with fabric and digital images. And I also made these little fabric snippets. So I thought today we just kind of play around and make a few different little things. You can call them embellishments, or you could call them ephemera. And I even have all, look at the little journals I've got so far. I got 5 of them here. So you can use them in your journals, on your journals, around your journals, send to a friend, phone a friend. Okay, I don't know why you're not working. All right, fine. Well, I don't have time for this if you're not going to work. Yeah, so we'll just put this away. No music for Linda today because I have to fight with it for a while. So I thought I would start with, let me set these 2 things aside here, using the fabric. So I've already made one. I had this really funky bright fabric and I got a piece of book page, and all I did was I cut a piece of fabric slightly larger than the image I was going to put on it, because I kind of had a plan that I wanted to put a butterfly on top of it. And then once I cut that piece, which measures approximately 3 inches wide by about 2 3/4 tall approximately. I think this is 3 inches by 3.5 inches. So we got 2 little pieces here, and then I have a butterfly. So my thought was, first, I know that I want these to be attached to each other via sewing, so I just have some glue stick. I don't need a lot of glue because I am going to sew. If you're not going to sew, then you're going to want to use an appropriate glue. I can use Elaine's Tacky Glue. I could use the Beacon Fabri-Tac type glue, or Beacon glue. You just want to put enough on there to help secure it. Okay, so I'm just getting that down. We're going to get the sewing machine out in a moment. So I got the sewing lamb, the sewing cam lamb. All right, so I got that. And then I have a little butterfly. Now this one, I chose to pick a marker and do a pink. So on this one, should I do orange or teal or pink? I already have pink laid out. So while y'all are contemplating that, yes, paste, you could use that to get it down. I do have, usually I am trying to listen to music while I do the live stream. I do. So if I were to go with an orange, do I even have an orange? I have burnt orange, and then if I were to do a teal, maybe this Caribbean. Yeah, fabric tack is your favorite? Yeah. One. Julie says teal, so let's see if this teal is a good. And since I just fussy cut a square, I think that would be a good teal to pop out on there. So I'm just going to use an alcohol marker. I got these for free several years ago and I forget to use them. So today I thought I would use them. And I suck at using markers, so I'm just going to do my best here to color this in. I think this one may need a new nib. I think either I've used it before or who I got them from had used it quite a bit. You like that with that color? Hey, paper lover. I like how that's, yeah. Hello, welcome. So I am just coloring in on a stamped butterfly. So this one is from Beeline Designs, but you can use any stamped image, or if you have a printer, you could print your own. Get them from a site that allows you to print. Maybe it's copyright free. If you don't have a laser printer and you want to be able to use alcohol inks on it, you're going to want to spray your page with a fixative spray, and that will lock in the ink jet on your paper so that you can come back in with the alcohol marker. Otherwise you'll smear everywhere. All right, so I've got that. So now I'm going to fussy cut this out. Everybody has their own techniques of fussy cutting. And I learned a long time ago is hold the scissors steady and then move the object, not your scissor hands, to cut it out. I don't know if you're noticing that my cutting hand is staying in the same spot. I'm just rotating the paper around and using that blade to cut out where I want it. And I highly recommend that if you don't have these Fisker, I think they're called Easy Grip or something. I have them in my Amazon store, and I get a commission if you do buy from Amazon, but it is the same price if you were shopping without going to my shop. So I appreciate your support if you use it to buy. I have 2 or 3 pairs of these. I think right now I know where 2 pair are. I need to get them sharpened. It's about time. I guess I do know where 3 pair are because one of them is my fabric scissors, and then the other 2 are my craft scissors. And what I like to do is just kind of add some distress inks on this. You love those scissors? You just hold your hand and wrist doesn't get sore. Exactly. I'm just going to use my distress ink down the middle where the body is, because the body is usually a dark color. It could be brown, it could be black, and then the wings have all the color. All right, so I've got that. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can skip this step. And I'm going to stitch around this outside edge. I think that teal is going to look pretty on there. So let's go over here to the sewing machine. Yeah, they're my favorite scissors. I really like them. I'll put this up here out of the way. Why is that? That seems really crooked. Okay. Close sesame. My little sewing machine has a drawer here where I put the sewing lamb. And I left it open. All right, so I'm just going to stitch a zigzag stitch right here along the edge. You can also hand sew it. Maybe you have some pretty decorative thread or you have some embroidery floss. You could use a ruler and go around the edge with a black marker to kind of give it a nice frame. So don't think you have to sew because I'm showing it. I just like sewing. I don't know why. Once I learned how to sew when I was like 12 or 13, I've been sewing ever since. See there? All right. You just bought the craft. Oh, the Guggenheim. Yes. Yeah, I bet they're not for fussy cut. They're huge. I do know some people that will use scissors, the big full-size scissors, to cut things. I am not one of those. Do we want the white flower at the top and the pink flower at the bottom? I guess it doesn't really matter. I think right there will be good. No, I haven't got my nails caught in the sewing machine foot. I have, knock on wood. Let's find some wood. Oh, here we go. This is wood. I've only ever sewn my finger once. And once you do that, you don't do it again. I'm just going to use some Beacon 3-in-1 because it's right here on my desk. And put a little bit on the back side of this paper. Okay. I have a little stack of fabric, and I've talked about this in other lives, that some of it was given to me. I may have purchased a grab bag at the quilt guild. I haven't gone in a long time. I'm not a member anymore, but I should be. And so I have this whole bag here of just tiny scraps. And when I was at the retreat 2 weeks ago now, I ironed a bunch of these because they were all kind of wadded up in the bottom. And it makes them a lot easier to use. So there's 2 of those. And then I have 2 more here. And do you want me to make multiples of the same thing or do you want me to move on? Yes, my nails are St. Patrick's. I don't know if you can see. They kind of look like a belt buckle going over that. I don't know if you can see that very well. You accidentally stapled your fingers once in school? Yeah. Oh, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Now, I've gotten paper cuts over the years off of cardboard and cardstock, and regular paper is no fun. So I have a green piece of fabric. Let's go ahead and glue it down. I got out some book pages I thought we could use. So now I've got a little piece of green fabric. And then what color should we make the butterfly? I could leave it white, but I think it needs to be a different color. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What color should I make this butterfly? And I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue this on to this piece of paper, even if we don't make it today. You know, sometimes just prepping things just makes life so much easier. So now that I've already got that glued down, I can take it over to the sewing machine. You just sat there staring at it like, what do I do? Yeah, you kind of go into shock, right? I'm going to go back to the sewing machine. You go into shock when you do something like that. Years ago, my mom was replacing the glass in a window that was broken in at that time it was a 100-plus-year-old building. And she was using it for multiple different things over the years, but she was replacing the glass by herself, and the glass shattered. And when it shattered, all right, go up, Neil. It had the glass shards fell, and one of them fell right in, can you see there? Right in the crevice of her hand and severed this ligament for her thumb. And she ended up wrapping her hand because it was bleeding everywhere and driving herself to the hospital to get it stitched. Like, oh my gosh. But she was in shock at first. She was like, I don't know what to do. Do I take the glass out? And she was like, well, I better take the glass out. So she took the glass out. So then it was bleeding really bad. She was like, I got to get to the emergency room. So she drove herself to the emergency room. I haven't had stitches from an injury. I have had injuries that should have had stitches. For example, when I was a kid, we lived out in Norman, Oklahoma, and we had a cinder block stairs to get into the house back then, and one of the blocks was broken. When I was going out the door, I stepped down and the wind caught, I was holding on to the door so that I could shut it, and the wind caught me, and I landed on the brick that was broken, and I ended up cutting about an inch, probably an inch and a half long, about an inch to an inch and a half long gash in my knee. And it was bleeding profusely. And I went in and Mom's like, oh, you'll be all right. Let's just put a Band-Aid on. I have a nasty scar because of it. It didn't hurt till the staple was, yeah, that's because then the blood comes back in, right? Yeah, she was brave. You think a magenta on top of this green? If we were to put the magenta? I don't know. I also have orange. I got an orange out. Let's see what this looks like. That one's called burnt orange. I don't know that I like that one. I saw another one. I have a golden yellow. Let's see how golden yellow looks. That one kind of is really, really dark. Really, really dark. I have dandelion. Maybe we should go with that color. It'd be nice and bright. All right, I'm going to run out of space here. I'm kind of thinking the yellow and green, but orange would work too. I'm going to do the yellow though. I think the orange, this particular orange, I don't know. Is that the right shade? You know what I could do is this. I'm going to go in here and do some yellow kind of in the middle. Okay. And then we'll come back in with this orange. You know what? It's only paper, so if it doesn't look good when we get done, I can always toss it into the oops bin. For some people, that oops bin is the trash can, and for others, it's an actual bin that says oops, that they can work on doing something with it at a later date. Let me go back here with the yellow right here. You always want to start with your lighter color and go in with your darker color because you don't want it to bleed onto your markers. You like the yellow? I think the yellow will look good. Let's fussy cut that one out. You like it? I am no expert with markers. I should practice more, but I have a tendency to enjoy the watercolor pencils more than using the markers because I think I have too heavy of a hand when I'm using the brush nibs. And I have lots of markers. I have a whole set almost of these Illustrator Spectrum Noir, I think's what the name of it is. Yeah. And these are old. I think they've got a whole new kind of marker now that they offer. I even have I have a few Tombow markers left. Most of them had dried up, so I threw away a bunch. I have the chameleon markers. That's what I should have done, was got the chameleon out, because then I could have blended it a little better. I think if I got an alcohol blending blender, I guess it's a blender marker, I could have blended that, but I think it looks okay the way it is. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I think I like the yellow and the orange together on that. More natural looking of a butterfly that might exist in the real world. There's not very many pink butterflies in the real world. So again, I'm just kind of going down the middle of my bug. Henry says, "You and your bugs." So, well, they're good bugs. We have to have these bugs. Okay, I like it. All right, let's glue that one down. Yeah, you like the, Julie's saying she has a watercolor brush markers and she likes to scribble it on an acrylic block or something like that and then use water to brush and a water brush to paint it on. Yep. So there's all kinds of ways. You know, some people never buy markers. They buy all the distressed inks in ink pad form and do exactly what she said, is just kind of smush it out onto a piece of acrylic, whether it be like transparency film or acrylic block, and then use a brush to pick up that color to apply it. So there's those. I'm not going to put any sentiments on them yet because sometimes I want to put something that's going with the theme of my journal. So I'm just going to set those aside. And this one, I don't know what I want to do with it yet. So I'm just going to put it in the same pile. So there is one thing. All right. What else do I want to do here? Let's see what we have in gel print scraps. I have a gel print here. And let me see. It has stuff on that side, but this one does not. But I think what I could do... I'm going to make an envelope. Do I want this on the inside and the outside, or do we want to paste another piece of paper to the other side? You know, I have an abundance of scrapbook paper, and I think what I might do is pull down a scrapbook pad, see if I have something that would work. Let's just use this one. I see one. I can get a hold of it. I know it's a completely different color than this one, but I kind of like it. So I'm going to cut this off. Do I want to cut off where you can't see the edges? So it's only the book page that you see? Maybe. Let's do that. That'll create some little strips that we can use. So I'm going to cut this off up here. And over here. All right, so now I have a few little scraps that we can use later on if we want. Use alcohol instead in the brush instead. So you can do it with alcohol markers too. Yep. Yeah, just don't even put the sentiment on them, Julie. Just make the cards without the sentiment. Hey, Creative Nana. I've done that on a lot of cards, you know, because if you don't mail out a lot of cards and you end up with an abundance of thinking of you or birthday cards that you may not use, you can leave the sentiment off and put something else on there and put them in your journal. All right, so I'm just going to glue this painted gel print paper to the back side of a piece of scrapbook paper. I'll line it up in the corner here. I'll smooth it out. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, I'm just going to trim this piece. Right along that edge. Yes, I know it creates another piece of paper, but it's one less big piece of scrapbook paper. And maybe we'll find something we can make out of these smaller pieces here in a moment. Oh wait, I'm going to keep this because what I want to do is I want to make a small little envelope. And this is approximately 8 1/4. I'm not good at precise measuring, so I'll just fold it in half and then line that up on my cutter. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a scoring tool, and I'm going to score a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So on this long side, you do it gently because you don't want your paper to rip. And I'm going to do it across. No, only on 2 sides. I don't need to do it on 3 sides. Right? I think that's right. And it doesn't want to fold yet. All right, come on now. Cooperate with me. Maybe it'll work better if I do it from this side. That's too far. I went too far. Don't go so far. Okay, so I'm going to fold these edges in. So this is if you don't have an envelope template and you're trying to figure out how to make an envelope. Here is a clever way to do so. Oh, I just gave myself a paper cut. Dang it. Owie. All right, so I know that I want this to fold up and this to fold down. So I'm just going to guesstimate and say right about there. And then we're going to kind of help it a little bit, leave a little bit of a gap, and fold it this way. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of distress ink on this edge so I can see it better. And what I want to do is I want to come in here and cut this at an angle and then cut off. I think I got that right. Yeah. And then cut off down this edge. Okay. And I'm going to come over here and cut off down this edge. And cut this at an angle and cut that at an angle. And then I get rid of the scraps. So now I have this little piece. And I want to add some distress inks to it all the way around. And I'll do, I won't see that one, but I will see this side. Okay. Put this away for a moment. Now what I'm going to do is put some glue on this tab and the other tab and then push it closed. So now I should be able to just push this up like that. Get rid of the scrap of paper. I guess in theory I could have left the edges on the book page and not have cut off to create that non-white space top and bottom. Need some distressings here. Oh, thank you so much. You've been too busy to do the stamping. You're picking a new car. Congratulations on a new car. I just got a new car a couple weeks ago. All right, so there is a basic little envelope, and you can continue to decorate that up as you so see fit. I think, let me see if I have a paper clip here. These are giant paper clips. Do I have a small one? Well, the small ones I have color on them. So do I want to make an altered paper clip, or do we just want to make a little flower or something? I'm gonna get an acrylic block to lay on to smush it. Okay. So let's see. Fussy cut flowers. Did I put them here? Fussy cut flowers. I have some fussy cut flowers. I don't know that I want these. I think I want this size. Oh yeah. My watch is reminding me of something. All right, I have this lavender little flower that we could put. And I have some green leaves. That we could put on there. And I think I have, where is it? Oh, what are you hanging up on? This right here. All right, so what I think I want to do, if I glue this on here, I'm going to make a pencil mark. Pencil mark. So I want some glue on this side. And I know I want some glue on my flower, or my leaves. So I'm going to kind of put that in the center. I'm going to put it in the center. And then lift it just a little bit to put my leaves down. Okay. And then to help it temporarily close, I've got Zig 2-way glue. And I'm just going to put a little dot and then let this air dry. Do not try to close it right now. Let it air dry. But that would be the back of the envelope. Now, do we want to add anything to the front of the envelope? You know what? I've got these labels. Let's see if I have one in the bigger. I may not. I may have used it all. Oh, here's one. I have this dark purple one. Why don't we just put that on there? And it may not be complete, but it's finished enough. All right, let's put these away for a moment. All right, so while that's drying, I'm going to put some glue on here and glue this down. Okay, so that should be dry pretty soon. It's still kind of wet, so I'm just going to set that aside. But the theory is this will tack close, and then when you're ready to open it, it'll come up because it's a temporary glue like a sticky note. Not enough people played. All right, so there's something else. We'll let that dry. Do we want to make another envelope? Might as well. We have the supplies here. So again, I'm going to come in here and score down the edge. That's too far. I keep going over too far. I need to make a mark on my paper cutter. Okay, go right there. Don't need this anymore. Put it away. And then I need to fold in the edges where I scored it. Do not give myself a paper cut. All right, go to this side. Jennifer, did you make it to town today? I never heard from you. And Henry didn't say that you stopped by. I'm going to add some distress here down this edge. If you have an abundance of gel prints and scrapbook paper, this is a great way to make some envelopes. All right, so right about there. I'm just using the, oh, that didn't work out very good. Right about there. Is that closer to, probably. Trying to fold it nice and neat. And then we're going to fold over the top. This one I folded differently, so it's not as deep as the other one. The flap isn't. So, because I didn't fold this, I made this part too big. I'm going to put a thumb hole in here. So I'm going to grab a hole punch. I'm pretty sure I have one. Here's one. This is pretty big. And it'll work. And to find the center, I'm just going to pinch it. So I know that that's my center. Come in here and create a little thumb hole. So now when we glue this shut, we have a little thumb hole there. Distressing again. You haven't left the house today? Oh my goodness, Jennifer. I get it. I had to go to the dentist today. My one of my teeth has been hurting anytime I drink something cold, eat something cold, or if I bite down on something hard like a nut, something crunchy. And so I made an appointment a while back and finally got one for today. And he decided that it's not a cavity. It wasn't like a hole. He said it's possible that I've been grinding my teeth at night. We didn't talk about a solution for that. I've been probably grinding my teeth at night. And because of that, I may have basically worn a spot. So he put some composite material. I think of it as a resin because he said it is UV cured. So it's probably some kind of a resin that when they put a UV light on it, it cures it. So he added a little bit, and then after he adds it, he has you test your, biting, make sure your teeth are lining up the way that you want. And it wasn't. So he's like, okay, so he had to go in and kind of grind it off a little bit. It's like back and forth, back and forth. And finally he got it. It didn't take very long. And I drank some cold water on the way home, and it didn't hurt. And I was like, yay! That only cost $200. All right, so that's glue this. I just realized, is this one sticking? It is sticking. I wasn't sure it was going to stick very well because of the acrylic paint from the gel print. But that one's sticking. I probably got just enough glue on there that it will stick. All right, I'll lay my block on there. Henry's never told me that he hears me grinding my teeth, so my fingers were dirty, so it's coming off on the glue. All right, so if you're worried that this is too sticky, I just stuck it on my finger for a moment, but oh wait, come on now, it was sticking. I think I rubbed too much of it off. And I'm also coming back in here really scoring that edge, and that'll help. Okay, now it's sticking. See how it's stuck there? And then it'll pop loose really easily. You may have to press it. Yeah, I only hear her snore. Thanks for that, Henry. Like I never hear you snore. Okay, well there's another little envelope. Should we go ahead and decorate it as well? Got the little flowers. Maybe we'll do something a little different. I don't know that I have another big purple label. This does have some blues in it. I do have this bright blue. And I have a darker blue. Oh, here's one. Let's do this one. What if we put that? I think that one looks good over the purple. Yeah, mini Velcro dots. Yes, that's another good thing, too. Henry snores, too. All right, I got out my words, and I don't know if I want to use one or not. I see this one. Do I want to put that on there? I don't know. Let's glue this down. Henry never hears himself snore. You grind your teeth from pain and wear these great little night guards. Okay, cool. A snore orchestra. Exactly. Sometimes the dog is snoring too. Hercules was really bad at the end at snoring. It was funny. He would be laying on me and he's just... It's like, oh my goodness. I have a video of him when he was younger and he was laying in my lap while I was at the shop working, and he's just snoring away. I'm going to pick a different flower this time. Since we kind of put that blue label on the front, I think that flower would look good on there. And let's grab another leaf. Maybe this brighter green one. And do the same thing. The problem is it sticks up, so I'll have to come down just a little bit so that it's not sticking up the front of the envelope. So don't put any right on the edge, and do the whole thing here. Okay. So kind of laying that just inside. And then we'll take this piece, and I think I want it maybe this way. I'm trying to put just enough that it'll stick, but I don't want it to have too much that it overlaps. So I'm pressing from the back side. You have to position yourself. Yeah, we sleep almost sitting up in bed. We have pillows and everything. I could put this right there in the corner. I think I like that idea. All right, so I'm going to put some of the two-way glue again. Make a little dot. Let that air dry. And let's glue this down. So there's a way to make envelopes. You don't have to have a template. You can just make some cute little envelopes. Oh, we might use that later. Okay, let's put this away. What do we want to make next? I'm gonna look at my stash of items. Let's see here. Well, we kind of made those. And I have abundance of those. So I think I'm gonna... What did I do with them? There they are. All right, I have a whole bunch. I'll take my top off here. My sweater. I have a bunch of these tickets. And I'm always trying to think of different ways to use them. Okay, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. Oh my gosh. Talking in her sleep. Not me. All right, so I have a bunch of these little tickets. If you have received any of my subscription boxes, more than likely you got a few of these. So I'm going to start with one in this orientation. And let's look at some strips. So I have a little strip here that we could put down the middle. Yeah, let's do that. Let me trim it. I'm going to turn it over. Or do we like that side better? I kind of like that one. Alright, so I want this right here. And I want a little bit of a border that it has all the way around. So I'm going to get a pencil and then mark this a little bit in. If you don't have these tickets, you can make your own. Just cut them any size you have of scrap paper, and then take a hole punch and make the notches on the side. And there you've got a little ticket. All right, let's put some distressings on this piece. I feel like with that blank area behind it, I need to alter it. So, do I alter it with stamping, stamp a pattern on the background, or do I alter it by coloring it with maybe some distress ink? That fits in the middle there. I know it covers up that pretty paper, but I'm trying to use up all these scraps. I think that's what I want to do. All right, so let's add a little bit of color to the ticket. Put a glove on so I keep from getting too much ink on my fingers. And that's kind of a dusty concord. I think I need to reinforce that. It keeps falling off. Let's see. So is this my purple? Here's my purple. And let's get the purple. Dusty concord. Let's see how this looks. I think that'll help. Okay, let's do that around the edge. I may need to re-ink my ink pad. I think I'm going to spritz this with a little bit of water and see how that looks. Hit it with the heat tool. Got to plug the heat tool in. I guess I haven't used my heat tool since I've been home from my little retreat. If you haven't been to a retreat, maybe in a long time or ever, I highly recommend that you find a group of people that you could hang out with for a day, 2 days, you know? You like it? Used to talk in your sleep, but not anymore. You know, it gives you an opportunity to fellowship with other creative people. Maybe make some new friends. Typically, what I have found is there are more people that get together to do scrapbooking. So you may want to join some scrapbook groups and ask around, hey, is there anybody having a retreat, an event in XYZ area? All right, so there it is with the background. I think I may stamp this ticket anyway. And go. Sometimes, in my case, there's one not too far from me that they hold twice a year. Once in January, and the second time is usually late September, early October. And the location is about 25, 30 miles, maybe. Maybe it's further than that from where I live. So I could come home every night. I don't have to have a hotel. This was the henna rose stamp. I like the way that looks too. So now I put that down and then put this down. I kind of like that, just layered up. The other retreat that I've gone to is a 2-hour drive. and we stay in a house that has been converted to be a retreat facility. So there's multiple bedrooms, and all the beds have more than one bed in it. I think two rooms have 2 beds, one room has 3 beds, and another room has 5 beds. So it's got quite a few beds. I like it. Let's put that on there. Oh my goodness. You were a little bit noisy, were you? You like it, Jennifer? I mean, right now I'm just making these for random journal things, because like this can go in the journals. I can grab one that matches whatever my color scheme is. So I'm liking how that's turning out. Let's make another ticket thing. And what do I want to do? I can punch a hole in it, and then it becomes like a tag. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and distress it. I'll do both sides. Did he remember she told you about it the next day? Girl, you're noisy. Do we want a piece of paper? Oh, since I think this time I want a bigger piece though. This might be just big enough. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay this on here. I want it to be really close to the edge. So I'm going to trim it here and trim it here. Get my paper trimmer. Make sure it's straight. Cut it the other way. So I was thinking I could put it like this. So we're going to think in this orientation instead of going crosswise. Let's add some distress inks. I think we need some kind of ribbon or something, and we need to find a little image to put on here. Maybe I can look in my image scraps and see if there's something that would work. So you could call this a tag or a bookmark. So we're using that faux ticket design. All right, so I have my little bag of goodies here. Let's see what we have. I see some smaller images. We could do this butterfly. It kind of takes up the whole thing, doesn't he? Maybe this one would be better. I don't know. Those seem too big for me. This is a domino size image. Maybe that size would be better. Yeah, maybe. have a little heart. We could offset the heart. Put a little, let's do something like that. I changed my mind, and that's okay. I'm allowed to do that. Okay. Well, if I have company here, I try to use our master bedroom bathroom. That's Henry's bathroom. If there's nobody here, I use the guest bathroom because that's my bathroom. That's where all my toiletries and that kind of stuff are. But if there's a guest here, the toilet in that bathroom is really noisy. So it runs forever filling the tank back up. I think we need to get a new tank insert thing. And if you're not careful, if you don't wiggle the handle just right, then the little flap inside gets stuck and it won't fill. It'll just keep running and running and running. And if you're in the back guest bedroom, you can hear it. It's loud. All right, so I've got this little heart, and I've got this little butterfly. I'm going to punch a hole up here, and I just saw, here we go. I have some cheesecloth, Robin's favorite. I haven't heard from Robin today. She sent me an email about an upcoming doctor's appointment, but I haven't heard back on anything else. I'm going to get a little piece of this. I don't know, maybe like that? I don't know if I like that. Maybe I'll do it this way, where it's coming out the bottom more. Something like that. Yeah, let's try that. Hey, Margie, I'm so glad you're here. You fell asleep in your chair. Well, it must mean you were tired. You had to get your rest. I understand. All right, so I'm going to glue down. First, I'm going to just add a little drop of glue here to hold that cheesecloth. And then we're going to go down this edge, kind of having this heart hanging off the edge. And this is a Calico Collage butterfly. I think it's from possibly the Bella Rose set, because I had extra ephemera pages. And we'll turn it that way. Oh, and let's do, I see the word nature. We could put that right there. Let's do that. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Going down here. Oh, you don't, you like cheesecloth as long as I don't use that green? Well, I decided not to do the green because we already had it. You're always tired. Well, I hope you're getting medical care. Maybe that you need to add some more vitamins or some exercise, even if it's sitting in your chair. I've been sending tutorials to Robin. That's probably why she hasn't spoke to me. I sent her some tutorials, you know, that were like, sit in your chair and hold your arms out and then come out to the sides and come back in and go over your head and come back down. And they're just real simple exercises. Other ones were take your hand and reach across and touch your opposite toe while you're seated in the chair. And I thought, well, these are things that she could do. But she never replied. So she's probably thinking, who do you think you are? So I'm just trying to help. Get to moving. I've been having problems with my shoulder, and my massage therapist said, "Hey, Arabella, welcome, Ada." Ada. My shoulder was irritated, and my massage therapist said it's because all of us in this world have a tendency to sit hunched forward. That hurts right there. Or because of my crafting, I'm always using my hand. And so I have a really tight, I don't know if you can kind of see where my hands are, under my armpit on the side here. She said there was a knot. And then I have another knot at the head of my shoulder up here, this little joint. And then I have another knot that was back here. And what's happening is they're pulling back and forth, and it just aches. And so I've been doing stretches and trying to work it out, massaging it. It's like, ah! Been in physical therapy in months, and movement makes all it does. You have to move. Find what you can do easily. And you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to, be doing jumping jacks or, wall sprints or, handstands. No, it's just simple movement. All right, I think I want some ribbon. I was looking to see if I had some laying out here. Oh, this might kind of work. It's a pale color, but I can alter the color of the ribbon. We're going to stitch it on there. So I'm just trying to gauge how much I want. Let's get 3 links. Still be nice and full. Cut this one. Come down to the end. I still have my glove on. It's probably good because I'm going to use it. All right, so I have this kind of a palish teal blue. It's not very bright. I am going to get another glove because we're going to alter the color of this ribbon. And one of those ways is using a distressed ink pad. Another is using Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. So I'm going to try using the ink pad. So what do we want? Do we want to go for this color here? I think that color coming out the top would be the best choice. So I'm going to grab the Mermaid Lagoon, and I'm going to, how did I usually do that? I always turned it over and just pull the ribbon and flip it over. It kind of flipped on its own. I'm going to go the other way. Okay, so there's part of it. I'm not done yet. I'm going to also get it wet so that that color will really soak in. So I'm just pressing my ink pad down, putting the ribbon in, and just pulling. And it's changing the color. To the other side. And I'm just holding a tab of it, so I do have to go back and flip the ribbon around to get that uncolored edge. Turn it over. Okay. You could dye it. There's all kinds of ways to change the color. I'm going to spray this a little bit with some water. And it'll kind of help it bleed a little bit. I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of make it blend. So it'll give that dyed effect because not the whole thing was coated. All right, now the key is we have to dry it. We have to dry it enough so it doesn't bleed onto our papers. That color was Mermaid Lagoon. It's one of my favorite colors. When I buy my ink pads, here recently for sure, past couple of years, I've been making sure that I also get the re-inker bottle. And this one's about half full. So I can shake this up and then re-ink that ink pad, and it lasts a lot longer. So yeah, it might be a little bit pricey at first to buy the ink pad and the re-inker, but I know one lady, she was doing a big job and she was commissioned to make some cards for a friend, and she went through like 5 or 6 ink pads because she was trying to distress everything. And I said, why don't you just buy the re-inker? It's so much cheaper. Because that was $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 for 5 ink pads at $5 a piece. And if she had purchased for, I think it's like $13, and some of them are less, some of them are more, of the ink pad and the re-inker, well, she would still have an ink pad. All right, so now I'm just going to load all of these through here. Yeah, the re-inker's a big help. And I like my heat gun too because it's so quiet. The Retreat, one of the gals, she got a new heat tool. She's never had one until now. And as she turned it on, I was like, whoosh! I was like, wow, that's loud. All right, so I'm just kind of spreading the pieces a little bit. And I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. That was Distress Oxide. Distress Oxide. That was Distress Oxide. I'm just going to do a quick zigzag stitch over the top there. If you don't have a sewing machine, then you just want to make sure that you cut your ribbon long enough for you to be able to tie a knot. Or you could also use a staple and staple it. So there, just quick. I didn't really do a very good job stitching that. There, we just added a little bit more on there. Actually, it didn't even stitch. Why aren't you stitching? Let's try it one more time. I think I was just going, oh, well, see, now it's not going to cut. If it isn't one thing, it is another. All right, let's look at this. I know I didn't put any bling on the others, but here we could, I feel. And I want to take my gloves off now because they're getting hot. Hot-blooded, check it and see. I got a fever, it's 103. You have a little hip. Yeah, I've seen those little ones that fold up. This one's not too bad, though, in theory. You know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 inches tall, and it's probably 3 inches at the biggest wide. I like it because it's compact, and I take it with me whenever I go do crafting away from home. So if it ever dies, I'm going to have to order a new one. Just like it. Let's get some bling in our lives. All right, so what do we want to do? Do we want to put some bling like under the word nature? Can do 3 little dots. Let's do 3 little dots. 3 little dots. So they're not lonely. What is it? 1 is the loneliest number. Okay, there we go. Let's put some bling on this one. Let's do bigger. Let's go bigger. Come on. Stick to the scissors. There we go. Oh, no, don't go on crooked. Don't do me that way. Well, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn cute. There we go. I guess we could put a bling. Yeah. I see some bigger bling. Might as well. I got the bling out. Oh, you stick right there. That's cute. Okay, so we're getting some goodies. Do we want to put a big one in the middle of that? Sure, why not? I didn't put any cards inside. I guess that could be another project here. And I'm not going to put bling on these yet because I may change my mind as to how I'm going to use them. I could put bling, I guess, down the... Alright, I'll do that. I'll at least put bling down the spine of the body. Spine? Body? What is it? The exoskeleton? Exoskeleton. Alright, put that. Come on. You go where I want you to go. Oh, that looks good. And look, I can throw this backing paper away. I think we have 2 more that have butterflies installed. So let's go ahead and put some bling on those. I found another bling sheet. Let's go right about there. Come on. There we go. One more. Thorax. There you go. The outside. Not the wings. The body. The thorax. I like it. I love it. I want more of it. All right, let's put these back. So we added some bling. Put these over here. I made 2 little ticket things. I think I want to make 1 more. Just trying to come up with different ideas. All right, you're not sticking because I messed you up. So we're going to make you better. It will work better once it's put in a journal because it'll more than likely be put in a pocket. All right, let's take this one and I will fold it in half and score it. Now, should we make a micro journal? Can use some more scraps. Let me see if I've got some coffee dyed paper here. And maybe we can cut a few strips to be the pages inside a micro journal. Coffee dyed paper, where are you now? Coffee dyed paper, where are you now? Ooh, I've got some handmade paper. You know what? Let's use this handmade paper. So, if I look at this, I can get 2 out of 1 strip. Oh, wait, this is folded in half. I don't want to use that. That's a full page. I saw another one, though. Here's one. All right, so if I go here and here, okay. So what I need is to measure this, and it is approximately 1.5 inches. So I need less than 1.5 inches. So I'm just kind of lining it up here. So let's go, yeah, 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 is there. Let's go 1.25. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I could, although it's ripping, I think what I'll do is just rip the edges and just rip 2 of them, because this one's already kind of falling apart. So let's do that. Not going to use a paper cutter. I'm just going to come over here to this edge and kind of rip the paper so that now fits within. And let's do that one more time. Wait, I don't want that one because it was torn, and I don't want... There, save that in the scrappy bins. Maybe we can make a little collage later. Okay, so now I've got that, and I need to fold these in half. And I'm going to put a little distress ink in the middle here. And then put these in the middle. I'm going to try something that I haven't done in a while. I'm going to get a stapler. And I'm going to line up where the staple is supposed to come out with my spine here. Hey, I did pretty close. It's like almost exactly in the spine. So now those are held in place. We've got little baby journal. Okay, so I'm going to temporarily hold it shut here. So now we need to decorate the front with something using our scraps. The inside is kind of it was just white book pages mostly. And so it had text on them and whatnot. And so that's why you get this kind of a mixed look. I'm looking at my fabric scraps over here to see if there's something that catches my eye. And I'm like, oh, that's the thing. Like this. This could be the thing. That's a pretty little piece. I hate to cut it. What else we got here? I have this little piece. If I were to cut just a little piece of that, that would look kind of pretty. Let's do that. Fabric scissors to the rescue. Do I need more bling? No, I don't need any more bling. If you're purging some bling, I will be glad to take it, but I don't need any more bling. I know this piece of fabric was folded in half, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut 2. Heck, maybe we'll do something like that. Do I have it right side up? Yeah. I think that would look good on there. You gotta go pick up the new car. Well, I'm glad you're getting a new car. I hope you enjoy it. All right, I think what I want to do is glue down this piece of fabric. So I'm going to use the Aleene's. No, I'm not going to use the Aleene's. I'm going to use the Beacon glue. It's a real thin piece of fabric, and sometimes Aleene's kind of seeps through, and it will make this kind of a dark spot on the fabric. So I don't know, you can call this ephemera, or I guess you could call it an embellishment. But I thought that would be kind of cute. All right. Just kind of holding it closed with this so I can also look at it. So what do we want to put on there? Maybe a word and a label, or a word and a butterfly? Let's get the words out. I haven't sat down and done the watercoloring of all the butterflies I want to make. Did I move them over here? Here they are. I have one pink one here. Or wait, let's see what this one looks like. I think, would we like that? Nope, that blends in too much. What about this smaller one? And there might still be room to put a little word below that. I went and used little tiny Ziploc bags to hold all the different colors of little butterflies. I still need some more. I need one size up from these, which I think these are 1.5 inches wide by 2 inches tall. And I think I need the next size up so that I can put the bigger butterflies in there. All right, we got a butterfly. We have a few small words already stamped, so let's look here. I have the word journal and have thoughts. We have field notes. That might be kind of cute. Nature again. Dream. So what if we were put the butterfly down and put field notes? I think that works. Let's do it. Besides, I have a bunch of those field notes stamped, and I need to use them. I need to make another sentiment folder because I keep filling this one up, but it doesn't always have what I want at that moment. And then I'll empty it, and I'll be like, I need to do some more. All right, so let's put the butterfly and this little sentiment on there. You can see where I had used a scrap of cardstock and stamped on the other side. A background play, that's weird. No, I have not donated stamps to Heart and Hand. I have not. I have donated some other craft supplies. I don't even remember what it was. It was just some, little baskets. I had a bunch of little baskets that I knew I was never going to use. Somebody donate a bunch. I've never heard of background play. It must be a YouTube thing. I don't know if that means it's playing all the time in the background, or it is adding music to a video if you're watching somebody. Does that make sense? Because sometimes people like to listen to music and watch TV at the same time, which is weird. But some people do that. Look, a little mini journal. And again, when we make a pocket for this to slip in, then it'll hold it closed. But that's another way to use those tickets. I'm on a roll. All right, so I've got this little piece kind of started. I'm looking at my scraps here to see if there's something that catches my eye. I have this piece of pink. If we were to put this on here, yes, no, maybe. That just covers up all the prettiness, so it doesn't really matter. And maybe the thing to do is to stamp on here and then layer it like this. So I could stamp something there. Or I could use a small piece of this. Come on. To kind of fill the gap. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why you won't listen to me when I say I don't like it. 1 month free. Huh. I would Google that if I were you and see if that's really something you want to do. Stamp. Stamp. Let's distress. You are a naked piece of paper and you need to be covered up. So I'm going to distress you. Put a little. Oh, I know what we could use. We could use some cheesecloth. All right, let's lay this out here. It's for premium users. Background play allows you to still hear when minimizing the app. Ah, okay, cool, cool, cool. Oh, cool. You got some really nice. You'll have to share a picture. Let me see what you got. Yeah, if there's money involved, I can do without it. I agree with you. All right, so if we put this on here, I could turn it sideways or this way, up and down or this way. And I don't really have a lighter color. Oops. Why are you cooperate? But I have kind of I have this kind of a rust color. And then I have this darker kind of burgundy, but I think this is the right one. And I just kind of want to wad that up there. Yeah. And then what we'll do is find a word, phrase, and maybe a flower or a bug to put on top. So let me glue this in place. Yeah, no more ads. Yeah. I think the rust color was the right call. I agree. All right, so we'll put that there. I want that on top or below. I think I want it the other way. Okay. Go in there for a moment. This will go right there. Smush it. And then we'll put this on. I could have sewn it, but I just wanted to add it. Ah, you get the premium for 10 a month through your phone provider, beats the $30 through YouTube. Wow, that's a good savings. Especially if you like watching content on YouTube. Because these days, everything's so expensive. Is this too big? Oh, look at that. I think we should do it. I think Memories is a good choice there. I saw something. There we go. These were some fall colored items that I made. And so I'm wondering if, do we like this with that? Or a butterfly? I think I like the flower better. Like that. Since these were all the same color scheme, I probably should assimilate them into my other butterflies and flowers. But for now, I thought, well, I know that these all go together. That was another thing I did with these tickets is while I was watercoloring the flowers and the butterflies, I made these little strips out of the tickets to use in my journals. So maybe we should make one. I haven't done watercoloring yet. I gotta hurry. Okay. Let's glue this together, and then I think I want a watercolor. So let's glue this one down. And I didn't do any sewing on that for you. I got it right side up? No, upside down. And let's glue these down. All right, so I think I don't want it sticking out too much. So I'm going to put glue like that. So it's kind of sticking out the top, but not too far. And then put this over the top. You like the 3 times speed more than anything? Well, I use the 2 times speed a lot. So I could see no ads and the 3 times speed. Oh my goodness. I wonder if we can get it through our provider. Maybe that's something Henry can look at because he gets so annoyed with the advertisements on YouTube. Okay, I like that. So we got, little things. And then this could be used as a tuck spot from the top. You could make a pocket, put this on there. You could put it at the top of the page and make it a tuck spot underneath. All right, I want to do a little bit of some watercolor. So let's get out. I already have these kind of done. And then I have my palette. Because I use the same colors a lot. What do I need? Where is my little bottle? Oh, this will work. Container of water. Container of clean water. So this is dirty water. Let me make sure. Yep, that smells like musty, dirty water. Should probably put some lemon oil in it or something. And I'm going to grab a brush and a pipette because I may want to reactivate this one. So I'm going to spray my watercolors. I may need more water than that over here, so sometimes I'll put water in these so that when I'm ready to mix, it just works a lot better. So, what kind of colors? We need something. Let's make something to go with this guy. Let's put him as our inspiration. So I'm going to put it in reverse order so I'm not going over it. All right, can you see that? So I'm going to want kind of a teal blue. I'm going to want an orange and a pink. So I'm going to make sure that I have this pink really hydrated here. Pipette is really handy to have. All right, I need a piece of paper or paper towel to kind of clean off my brush. It might be a little bit darker than what I was using there. All right, so I'm getting my brush really saturated, and then I'm just going to come in here and make a square. It's not super pigmented, so I'm just going to go direct. And then I'll do another one. This is one of those things that I set up a couple of baking sheets. I get these simple little cookie sheets. I just got a piece of paper laying on top of it. And I'll watercolor a bunch of images and put it in that baking sheet to set aside to dry. That way I can keep working. And I have in the past put spacers in between so that I could stack a bunch of sheets on each other. I could have used large magnets. I may need to find those magnets. Thanks for the idea, y'all. All right, so we want to do the teal and the orange. So I think I'm going to put the teal in the middle and the orange on the ends. I think that's what I want to do. So let's go. This one's called Sky Blue. I may need to get more water. So I'm going to come up here again. It's a little different color than what was in the butterfly, but I think it's okay. I could add, I guess, a little bit more green to it. Let's see what happens here. Do I want this one here? Yeah, let's do this. I'm grabbing some kind of a teal color. It may not look much different to you on camera, but it is getting that a little bit more closer to that color. All right. Clean off the brush. And let's do orange. So I've got, what is this one? This is just orange. think I need more. More. This, oopsie. All right, try to dry that off real easily. Okay. That's why I moved that up there, because I knew as soon as I didn't, I would splatter paint. Okay, I like it. It's just kind of fun to play with different colors. You like the cookie sheet? Yeah, the cookie sheet is so handy to lay things out, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, if you move them around or whatnot. Like, these are still really wet, so I could use my heat tool, or if I stack them into my little tray, then I can set my tray out of the way and move on to my next project. So I think you don't need to see those dry right now. What other watercolor could we do? I have a bunch of flowers. They're in here. I'm gonna have some butterflies. Let's do a butterfly or two. And since we already have some colors out here, I'll move this around. So we don't have anything for this one. And I kind of like this two-tone effect. I'm going to try doing that with watercolor this time. So I'm going to get some yellow. Let's get that saturation. And then I'm going to push it out to the edge. So if you don't have markers, you could use watercolors and kind of create your own effect like I did here. Clean the brush out. All right, let's pick up some orange again. All right, and we're going to start on the outside, work our way down. And it'll bleed into that watercolor just a little bit of the orange into the yellow because it's still a little wet. All right, there's another butterfly. And so typically what I would do if I was in a hurry, I would hit this with my heat tool and then I could fussy cut it out. If I'm mass producing a whole bunch, like I said earlier, I would just lay it on a tray and then move on to what other color scheme that I see that I like to do. Computer acted up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I was just trying to think. I have multiples of these. On if I want to stack them, I have to put a spacer in there. And I had some thick magnets that I may be able to put in here and it would stay up. And because it's magnets, it wouldn't fall apart. I don't think this is the magnet. Oh, here's some. Just knock something off. Oh, I thought I had one more. Oh, I do. I don't know where I got these. Oh, that one's a lot bigger. Here, let's do this one. But here was my thought. If I put magnets in here and I had another cookie sheet, I could stack them and it won't touch what's underneath. Now it might touch in the middle, so I could always put another one in the middle, and that keeps them from sliding around. I like this idea. Thank you for that. I forgot about using something like magnets. Verizon has a lot of great perks, yeah. For cheap, cheap, cheap. All right, let's close the lid. We did these. Put this back over here. Okay, now I'm trying to remember what else I got out to show y'all. We did the fabric. We didn't really do this type of a thing, but we did with that without sewing. So same concept. We made an envelope. We made a tag. We made a little mini journal. I have some envelopes here, so let's grab one. And I was trying to think of a way to embellish these a little bit. So I'm going to put some gloves on, and I think I'm going to get out a stencil so I can add color to it via stenciling. And then we'll dig around and get some rubber stamps and just add something pretty to it. Alright, so let's grab a scrap of paper here. You go back in there, or you will end up in the trash. Okay, got this guy. Let's move you over there. Let's put the envelope down. Feeding Frenzy is on the top. What color should I do? I've been doing a lot of pink and teal. We did this purple earlier. I know y'all don't want the green, but I'm going to do a green. So I've got green. And I think I'm going to get, I think it's called Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide. Yeah, Mowed Lawn. Henry already has mowed our lawn. Here we are in middle of March. And yeah, let's just do this. So right now I'm just going to stencil the envelope. And let's turn it over. Ooh, look at that. It's green. It looks more yellow on my screen, but it's green. Let's go over here, my dear. Okay. I'll have to clean that stencil. Close it up. I want to add some distress inks to it. Ruh-roh. Put it in the wrong spot. So it got angry. The drawer wouldn't shut. Alright, get in there. Get where you belong. Add some distress inks all the way around. Some greens are good. Just not all greens. My mother-in-law gave me a whole box of these envelopes. And so I've been trying to think of little creative ways to use them. Okay, so I added some distress inks all over, and I think, do we want to do something like put a label on there? Do we want to stamp the edges? Let me distress this piece. I could also add color to it and make it kind of green. And I have a little bit darker green piece of cheesecloth. So what if I put a little bit of cheesecloth behind that? And let's take my gloves off. I don't know if I want to add color to the ticket and make it the same shade of green, which would be easy to do, or if we wanted to stamp it. Let's look here. I think, of course, this is an envelope. Do we really want it to say journal on the envelope? I could instead do memories and then put a flower on that side. Putting the journal word away. What if we put a large flower like that? I think that works. This goes under here. This is a daisy stamp, and I stamp it with the leaves so that I have a set. All right, I think that's what I want to do. So first, I'm going to glue this to my ticket. Spray the stencil with water. Oh, yeah. Spray the stencil. I wasn't thinking of doing that right now. Your neighbor mowed last night, and now you're covered in snow. I knew it was coming. Oh, wow. That's crazy. All right, let's add some glue to this piece. And I'm using the Fabri-Tac because I'm gluing this down on the, what do you call that, cheesecloth. And I want it to seep through that cheesecloth and adhere to the paper. And one thing I should check, okay, yes, is I have the flap in the right direction. All right, let's glue that down. And I need to add some distress inks to my flower. I cut out a bunch of flowers, but I didn't go ahead and add the distress inks to them. So I need to do some more distressing on my stash. Okay, and I think that's going to go right there. Use the same glue here. I think this is going to be the last one I do today. I'm going to get off here early, partly because my shoulder's bothering me. And I think I've showed y'all quite a few things. that I'm sure any one of these you can find a way to make your own version of it. And I'd love for you to share that. You can share it in the Friendly Junk Journal People Facebook group. I'm going to close this up so I don't spill it. I like it. And I'm not going to do anything to the back. I might come back in here. I have some washi tape. So I will add a little bit of washi tape so that it doesn't accidentally stick. I think I'm going to go all the way in to the edge here. See if I can line it up with the edge of the envelope. And I'm just going to cut off the excess here. There. And then go this way. Cut off the excess. And let's go the same direction. So I'll line it up. Oop, not lined up. Now it is. I better line it up better. I think I want to line up this same cut. There. Going all the way to the edge here. And then come in here and trim off the excess. And now I don't have to worry about the envelope accidentally getting moist, wet, however you want to say it, damp, and gluing itself together. And then you can't get in it unless you tear it, which if you like that look, you could deliberately not do this step. I don't know if I need anything on the back side. I figured put it in an envelope or a pocket like this. And then we've got this little envelope that I made that now all of a sudden the sticky doesn't want to stick. And here's another one. Same paper in the background. I just chose different color of flowers to put on it. You stay. Made this little ticket book. So it's a book made out of ticket and some handmade paper. I'm going to put something heavy on you. And I made this out of a ticket. We made this out of a ticket. Made this out of a ticket. That's what I thought was kind of clever here, is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that I have used these little tickets. These are just blank tickets. So again, if you have some paper scraps, these are 1.5 inches wide, tall, deep, however you want to say that, and approximately 1, 2, 3.5 inches long. And then if you have some scraps, you could cut them to that size and then just make yourself a little template of where you want to take a hole punch and just punch holes on the edges, and it gives that faux ticket look. Oh, and we also painted, I forgot, we also painted these, which are still wet, but another ticket. So that was 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ideas of using the tickets today. The envelopes, and then of course the fabric pieces. So hopefully I gave you some ideas to try out with what you have. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And if you're inspired and you make something similar concept, share it in the Friendly Junk Journal People Facebook group and make sure you tag me so I can come take a look at it. Thank you so much, Jennifer. You ready to get your stuff out and start creating? Yay! Thanks, Julie. Thank you, thank you. Well, y'all have an amazing week. Thank you so very much for spending your time with me. And I do hope that you're inspired to create, get in your creative space and make something. And you remember, people are going through all kinds of things around the world. Be kind, whether it be online, in person, in thought, while you're driving down the road, whatever the situation may be. Let's try to be kind to one another because you never know what someone else is going through. We were talking not too long ago, and some person was telling me all the things that were happening to them and their family, and it was just, one thing after another. And then another lady, kind of talked about things that are happening to her, and one thing after another. I said, we can always think that what we're going through at this particular time is the worst thing ever. And then when you hear somebody else's story of what they're going through, and you're like, wow, I'm pretty blessed because I'm going through my thing that I know I can handle. So, be kind. You never know what someone's going through. You're very welcome, Creative Nana. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all have an amazing week. Lots of love to each and every one of you. Do you want me to do some more ephemera next week? Let me know. Or do you want me to move on to something else? Give me some suggestions. I'd love to have it. Y'all take care. Bye, everybody.